Alright, everybody, what's going on? It's Austin Got Figs back with another video here. And today is a, kind of new video. Today we're going to be going on the WWE Reddit and we're going to basically be reading some of the WWE Reddit. Basically, that's about it. And so, yeah, without further ado, let's jump right on into it. Jim Ross gives us an update on Twitter. Checked in and ready to kick this cancer out on its ass. Yeah, man, it it sucks, man, to see Jim Ross. He does have colon cancer, and that is not something to joke around with, obviously. And I hope he comes back better than ever, man. I hope, I'm just not hoping for the worst, obviously, hope for the best, and hopefully this man has a smooth and good recovery. WWE no longer cares about stages. I don't necessarily think that is entirely true. No, yes, I do see where you're coming from. I mean, obviously, here, this Backlash 2006 stage looks very awesome and very cool, and then we jump down to 2025 here, and it does look very basic. Now, the thing is, can honestly see it from a money perspective because you can have fans sit behind the stage area, and obviously the WWE makes more money that way. So I can see why they do that from a money perspective, and also I can also see it from kind of like an in-ring perspective. You kind of want to mainly focus on the actual like matches and the actual like ring setup to make sure everything's good down there, and to really really focus on that area of like the set, because you don't want to go too deep into the obviously the entrance, because it's that's not where everything's gonna take place. I mean, yeah, it matters, and don't get me wrong, it definitely matters, but I can understand it for various reasons. Seth Rollins is winning Money in the Bank and cashing in on Jay the Monday after. Now, I do 100% agree with the fact that Seth Rollins is going to win Money in the Bank. He definitely deserves it, and he definitely needs it to help elevate the storyline of this new faction that he's building with Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed, and himself, obviously. So I definitely agree with that side of it. But as far as cashing in on Jay the Monday after, I don't necessarily see him cashing in, but I do see him making an appearance and kind of taunting Jay now that he has won the Money in the Bank. But I don't again necessarily agree with the fact that he'll cash in that quickly. I just personally do not see that happening. I think they'll want the Money in the Bank to, I think they'll want Seth to hold it for a good amount of time to kind of elevate the again his faction to help it continue to keep running and make a bigger storyline out of that. WWE needs to start pushing younger stars in the men's division. Nearly all the main events seen have said they are retiring in 3 to 5 years, yet Braun is the only young star being built. It usually takes 5 to 7 years on the main roster to become a main event draw. Now, I definitely agree with this, man. WWE stars need to get pushes, man. There's a lot of them. I mean, Braun Breaker's obviously one of them, but there's guys like Austin Theory who we've seen can put on a pretty good match, but if he just gets that push, if people like Austin Theory get that push they deserve, man, their careers would elevate to another level, and it would be so good for the business, and people would actually be intrigued in what they're doing every week on either Raw or SmackDown. Now, the fact that these guys aren't being pushed, it really does suck, because obviously from a business perspective there's lots of guys that people want to see have a big push in the WWE, but WWE either refuses to pull the trigger or they do it too late. And I'm glad Braun did not fall under the category of being too late. I think this is honestly the perfect time to give Braun Breaker a push, and I think that pushing Braun will make him definitely into a main event star and a future WrestleMania main eventer. Raw on Netflix in 2025. What we hope for versus how it's going. Yeah, I am right there with you, man. I feel that. When they came to Netflix, I definitely thought we were going to kind of get back into the Attitude Era with more like gore, or not necessarily gore, but more of those brutal matches. And it's not like we haven't got those, cuz we've definitely gotten some, and but I also thought that we would see more of that unfiltered language, but unfortunately that was not the case. And we are getting stuff like this. Now this stuff, it's not bad, some of it is pretty funny and I really can't complain, but in the end I really was hoping for something more like this when they did go to Netflix. But it is what it is, and honestly, it's not too big of a deal because it's not like the show completely fell apart. The show is still booming and it's still making history. How do those in TNA feel about this? Well, obviously, I'm not in TNA, but I will give my thoughts on this. I think this is very cool, man. We've never seen this before. A WWE NXT or just a WWE star in general wins the TNA championship while still wrestling in the WWE, man. And that's crazy. That is a history maker, man. So huge shout out to Trick, man. He made history, and that's something nobody will ever forget, because that is a very memorable moment, obviously, in the world of professional wrestling. Now, I don't think this is a bad call on the TNA and WWE behalf. I think this is actually a good call for the like business wise, and I think this can definitely open doors for future, storylines or events that happen between the two companies. And honestly, I can't wait to see what actually happens moving forward now that we're seeing this. So I'm actually very all in favor of Trick Williams being the TNA champion. There you are, man. The Wyatt Six is back, baby, and honestly, I'm pretty hyped, man. I hope that they have a great role in the tag division, which obviously they will, or I would hope so. Again, and I hope they're actually used how they should be used. I hope they get championships, and I hope they have great storylines in the tag division, man, because honestly, before they went off TV for a while, I really wasn't digging them, man. I really wasn't seeing the vision, but now that they're back, man, I'm visioning something that the Wyatt Six is going to have a good push, and they're going to be one of the most dominant tag teams in the tag team division. And honestly, on both shows, man, Raw and SmackDown, they're gonna dominate, and it's gonna be so good for not only the tag division but us, the fans, to actually sit down and watch. Because I think we will have an absolute blast out of the Wyatt Six, man. Can we stop having this garbage? Man, as I said before, honestly, I really don't mind this kind of stuff much, because sometimes, like I said, it adds comedy to the show, and I think everybody can get a good laugh out of it. I don't think it's like the worst thing to have on the show, and I can understand why they're doing it. It's kind of like bringing the Travis Scott into WWE, man. It's all for that business and all for that money, because bringing people like these guys into the WWE and showcasing them, even just like in little tiny segments, man, it really can bring in more fans and can help out the WWE from a business perspective. Jesse Ventura made a great call at the end of the Drew versus Damien steel cage match. Why in the hell is walking out the cage door allowed? Such a weak anticlimactic way to win a steel cage match. It is just me. Is it just me who thinks this? What do y'all think? Man, you're right. He does have a point, man. I don't think that it's good that you should be able to leave the steel cage and that's how you win. That shouldn't even be a stipulation, but But not only that, that match between Drew and Damian should not have ended by Damian walking out of the cage. That match deserved to have a pinfall for the match to end, and honestly, it didn't necessarily ruin the match because we did see some great spots, obviously with the concerto to Drew McIntyre. But you know, man, it it does suck, man. There definitely should have been a pinfall, and Damien should not have been able to walk out of the cage. It should have ended in a pin. And if it ended in a pin, the overall match would have been seen as a much more greater match because I think because Damien won by leaving the cage, I think that kind of shifted people away from actually how good the general match was and like from an in-ring perspective, and them only focusing on the end of the match, which obviously wasn't the greatest because of the end result. All right, man. Well, that is going to wrap up today's WWE reaction to WWE Reddit video. Now, I hope y'all enjoyed this Reddit video. Comment down below if you enjoyed. If you did, I will continue to do more of these videos. And if you have not already, like the video, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications, share out the channel. It helps me out a lot. And without further ado, I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace.